Okay, how about now, those of you on YouTube and, um, yeah, those of you guys on YouTube and Facebook, see if there is a sound now. Let me see if I can check it a certain way. I know all of you guys over here on Instagram, there's never any problem with that. Okay, my monitor shows that the sound is going now. So, I'm gonna carry on like the sound is going. Okay, so can any of you guys over on Facebook give me a sound check? Let me see. No, I can't do that. I can't check it a different way because I've got you guys over here on Instagram. Let me do this. And there's a lot of Facebook stuff that doesn't show up on the streaming. So Dana says that the sound is going now. So when I go back to edit, I will have to remember that and edit from the point where I fix the sound. So I know there's been a lot of people who've been waiting for these dream shows, and I'm sorry you had to wait so long, but we've had a lot of things going on, family issues. A lot of you people that are on Patreon know that David's mom sold her house and she's just now moved out, and there was like 40 plus years of things to go through. And since she lives in Mousy and that's where she sold her house, there was a lot of travel back and forth, and it's very stressful. This is a big life change for her and us, and so there wasn't really enough time to do the shows like I wanted to. And so I just took a break and we took care of things, at home for a little bit. And we're caught back up now. So we're good. We're good. Let me put up a QR code for one of the dream recall things. Because that's something that you will want to do, is to practice dream recall. It's one of the best things that you can do as a self-help type of thing. And so all of these dreams should have been presented in July, but as you know, July was, too busy. So now we're getting into it. And what about the weather? Man, it has been so flippin' hot. And so I'm putting my hair up more lately. And I know there's a lot of people who love my long curly locks, but this is all you're going to get tonight is just face framing pieces, okay? So this is going to be officially the August dream show. But for future reference, anytime you send a dream into me and I present it on the show, it's always done anonymously. So you don't ever have to worry about, anybody knowing who you are. So just keep sending those dreams in and we will keep interpreting them. Okay, so this is the first dream. And the reason why I do these is to give you an idea about how to interpret your own dreams. Because if you don't look at the context of the dream or the total meaning of the dream, you may actually lose the aspect of the dream that you need to focus on. Wow, man. Well, it is almost a full moon. I'm like, why is nothing working? Because you can see, now it's over here. Over here is where the chat is supposed to show up. And does it show up? Nope, it's not showing up. Oh, patience. I know what will help. One more sip before we go on. Delicious. Okay. So I'm going to go back to the QR code since the dream overlay chat is not working. All right. So here's the first dream. And I'm not going to mention any names or anything. So this one is a repeated dream. So the person says, and this is a female. I think they're all female dreams. These are none of these are male dreams. I don't think. But it was this is a repeated dream. 2 days in a row, I dreamed about snakes and my grandson. Now, what I'm going to do is just go through the dream, and then I'll go back and show you how to analyze this. The first dream, he was playing with these little things, and I didn't know what they were. Then someone told me that they were snakes. That was the end of the one dream. In the very next dream, I was at my house, and I saw this very long thing that was just very lightly covered. I walked and was looking to see if I could tell what it was when I saw its head. When I got to its head, it opened its eyes, and its eyes followed me as I walked past it. Then I realized it was a big snake. I took off running, but I was running in slow motion. I made it to the garage and ran into the garage, and it came up to me, and I told my husband that it was a ball python. It was trying to get either to me or my grandson, but I was shielding him, and my husband was trying to kill it with a shovel. So this was very disturbing, and I can't help but think that it has some sort of meaning, because I dream every night, and although I remember my dreams a little bit, I remember every single detail of this one. Let's see. JAWB says, I can't find you on Facebook. Let me just send a link real quick. Oh, I tell you what, just search my name on Facebook, because it won't let me send a link on the comments. Sorry about that. And actually, there might be a link in my bit.ly link on Instagram. Okay, so let's go back and interpret this dream. So this is a repeated dream, and repeated dreams, what that means is the subconscious is presenting an idea for contemplation to work through or work on. So there's some area of stress that the person is not accepting of trying to work on it. Like they're experiencing something, but maybe they're not doing the inner work that it takes to get over it or get through whatever the thing is that they're needing to work on. So let's see so the theme on her dream is snakes and her grandson. So the grandson, because later on in the dream, she says that she's trying to protect the grandson. Okay. And so snakes represent, in this context, they can represent one of many things. They can represent transformation, transition, and growth stages. Now that is in a normal, I would say, non-ethnic socioeconomic group. That's how the context of what people relate to symbology as snakes in that area. Different socioeconomic groups relate to symbology different. For instance, if you are a member of a Native American background, snakes can represent violence or revenge. So let's go on with the dream, and that will kind of clue into which context we need to interpret here. So she's dreaming about snakes and her grandson. Now he's playing with the snakes, and she doesn't realize exactly what they are until she gets up close to them. And then the dream switches to she's experiencing this large thing that at first she doesn't know that it's a snake, but then she realizes when she gets up close that it is a snake. So I think the reason why she remembers this is because she's saying the first dream he was playing with these little things and I didn't know what they were. Then someone told me they are snakes. Now, the someone who comes in and tells her that they are snakes is either an angelic presence or a spirit guide, okay? So they're the ones presenting this to her for work in the conscious mind from the subconscious. Okay, so when she so she transitions to the part of the dream where she realizes this big huge snake is in her area, and she takes off running, and then she's running in slow motion. So anytime you're running in slow motion, there's an effort there and you're trying as hard as you can. But part of that, I think, is because it's slow motion, the spirit guide or the angelic presence is alerting her to slow down and pay attention. Okay, slow down and pay attention. And so I think that that's why the running is in slow motion. So she determines that the bigger new snake is trying to either get at her or her grandson, but she was shielding him. So there are a lot of fears in this person's life about the grandson's situation and about him being vulnerable to snakes or people who I think on the outside they appear okay, but on the inside they may be not okay or maybe conniving or evil. But when she can't handle it, she gets her husband to try to kill the snake with a shovel, and that's very disturbing. And usually in relationships we have people who are nurturers and people who are the protectors. And so when she asks her husband for assistance and tries to get him to kill the snake with a shovel, it's because she's feeling vulnerable, and she's also has the stress and concern and fear about not being able to protect the grandson. And so in the dream, her husband's trying to fix the situation by killing the snake with the shovel, but it's because he's seen as the ultimate protector within the relationship and the household. So the reason why this dream keeps morphing into different categories, but it's always snakes, is because there's a lot of fears with protecting the grandson from these transformative or transmutative types of people. So now, kind of the Native American definition of the symbolic meaning of snakes fits more than a traditional one for our socioeconomic group, because transformation, transmutation, transition are all kind of symbolic for snakes. But like I said, Native American is more violence and revenge. And so I think she may have a lot of concerns about violent type of situations happening to her grandson. So Mick McGillicuddy says, full supermoon. Yes, I mean, can you imagine? Of course we're going to have technical difficulties. It is a full moon in just a few hours. Okay, so that's the interpretation number one. Hey, Michelle, over here on Instagram. Good to see you tonight. Let's go to the second dream. Okay. And this person states that they have the same dream theme, which what we were saying is, if you have repeated dream themes, what your subconscious is doing is telling you, okay, we're sending you an area of concern that you need to pay attention to. And if there's an evaluation done by the subconscious that you haven't worked on that, you haven't accepted whatever they've shown you, then they're going to change a little bit of the dream and send it to you again. So you see in the example on number one, at first the grandson is playing with the snakes, but then example number two, she is coming across a larger snake, which is a more threat. So the second person has the same dream theme going on in several dreams. Okay. So that means that the message is not being heeded. And so subconscious has to change things about the dream and represent it again. So this person says, I wake up with bad brain fog. Go to a friend to get a haircut. Get home, ask my friend to cut my hairline in the back where the hairdresser missed. I put on a heavy pink robe, and she does. Doorbell rings. It is a lady from the hair salon, and she wants information on an insurance company that I had many years back, as no one will insure her. I'm searching in the file cabinet, pulling out folders, and I can't find the information. Then she states she is hungry, so I ask if she would like a ham sandwich. She says yes and brings her husband and 3 kids in. After fixing all the sandwiches, I ask to be excused. I am hot and sweaty and change into shorts and a top. Then I think I will check the computer for insurance information, but my adult son has almost 50 pages open and I can't close them all. I ask him to do it, and I'm still experiencing brain fog. I go back to the paper files, and my husband asks if he should include our parents in the paper he is writing. I frustratingly ask if he can wait until I find the information for the woman. I do find the name and address of the insurance company, tell the woman, I send her a photo of the information, and she says her phone won't accept pictures. So I am writing it all out on paper, and then I wake up. Now, this one's kind of complex, but it has like a common theme. Let me check and make sure everything's okay on Facebook. Why? Because the chat box isn't working. Imagine that. Can you imagine? I mean, yeah, well, I'll tell you what. Me and old Restream will have a little chat this week. Hey to Yasmin Jadoon on YouTube. Good to see you here tonight. Let's see if let me do another. Okay, this is one of the most important books that you can get for dream interpretation and symbology recognition is this little bitty Encyclopedia of Dreams Symbols. It's written by Rosemary Ellen Guiley, and she's like one of the best authors for symbology interpretation, just in my opinion. So let's go back to this dream, and we're going to cut this up and interpret it bit by bit. So this lady wakes up with bad brain fog, meaning it's a confused state of mentation. Okay. And she goes to get a haircut with her friend. So haircuts or hair is considered your thoughts. You know, if your hair is all tangled, your thoughts are all tangled. So she's going with a friend to get a haircut, meaning there's some alteration that the subconscious is trying to get her to do with her thoughts, getting her to think about things differently. So she's asking her friend to cut her hairline in the back where the hairdresser missed. And she puts on a heavy pink robe. Okay, so this is important. So the color pink, it relates to love and empathy and that kind of thing, but it's heavy, meaning she's an empathetic person. She's got a lot of empathy or clairsentient abilities, but it is weighing on her. Okay, the heaviness of the robe means that it's weighing on her. The doorbell rings, and it's a lady from the hair salon, and she wants information on an insurance company that the lady had many years ago because no one will insure this woman. Okay, insurance companies have always been symbolically like security. If you had your insurance, you didn't have to worry about anything happening. So it represents security, and that things will be okay. So this lady that's coming into the picture, no one will insure her. Okay. So that means she has this needy factor. And so the original woman is searching in the file cabinet, pulling out folders, and she can't find the information. So underneath, she has these feelings of inadequacy, not being able to give somebody what they need. And then this woman who has come in that needs the insurance says that she's hungry, okay? And that and so the lady asks her if she would like a ham sandwich. And she says yes and brings in her husband and 3 kids. Now, this is symbolically an imposition. Why ham sandwich? Well, she's brought in her whole family to eat, which ham represents pigs. So to me, this person who is coming in with their husband and their kids. It's all like, these are pigs, greedy little pigs. So this woman is trying to fix all these sandwiches, and she asks to be excused because she's hot and sweaty, and she's trying to change into shorts and a top. So what she's doing is trying to change her thoughts and interactions with people who are draining or people who are sucking the energy or life out of her. Okay. So then this part of the dream, she thinks, okay, I'll check it on the computer for the insurance information, but then she gets usurped by her an adult son that has almost 50 pages open, and she can't close them all. Okay, so the number 50 means completion or a reset, which to me, this may be symbolic that the son may be taking a little bit of advantage of the situation, and that the completion or reset of the number 50 means that needs to stop. So subconscious is recognizing that, okay, there's a lot of inner frustrations here because she's not only trying to take care of this greedy family, but then she's got the son who has done all this stuff with the computer, and it's her computer, but she can't do what she needs to do, and she's feeling inadequate and frustrated because she can't perform this task of finding this information for this woman who doesn't have insurance. So she then goes back to the paper files, and the husband asks if he should include our parents in the paper he is writing. This is just a point of contention and a point of frustration because she's trying to complete a task, but she's getting constantly interrupted and distracted by, the pop-ups and the windows on the computer, but also the distraction from the husband. And so she's not able to feel capable at completing a task. So what I would recommend for this person is to do some binaural beats or brain entrainment for confidence. And that may allay some of the fears of inadequacies that are going on here. So she finally finds the name and address of the insurance company. She tells this lady, okay, I've got all the information. I've sent you a photo of the information. When again, the woman says, my cell phone, I can't receive photos. It won't accept pictures. So then the woman ends up writing it all out, which is an extra task that an extra step, an extra task that she has to go through to accommodate the failings of this person. So what her subconscious is trying to show her is, okay, you're accommodating too much. Your clairsentient ability is putting you at more expense. It's allowing too much to happen here. And this is a repeated thing because it's something that all clairsentient or highly empathic people need to work on, is not being taken advantage of. Because the whole dream theme, first the lady, needs the information because no one will insure her. Okay, then she says she's hungry, and then she brings in her husband and these 3 kids. And that causes a lot of strain on the person having the dream. And then, she comes up with her phone won't accept pictures. So the running theme there to me is you're being too accommodating. You're going to great lengths and wearing yourself out to try to accommodate everybody. So, and that dream will keep reoccurring unless the person gathers more confidence, and then they make healthy boundaries with the people that they're trying to help. So boundaries are a big key here. Let's see. Okay, Joe. So Joe says, I lost you on Instagram, but actually found you on Facebook. I know it's crazy, but like I said, we're near a full moon. I don't put it past anything to happen tonight. Now I'm streaming Instagram on my phone, and it still says I'm live on here. So I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. Okay, so let's continue on. Okay, so this was a really good dream. The next one, we have several to go through tonight. So let's take a little sip. And as you know, we're going to run over tonight because we have at least 3 more to present to you. Okay, so this person, this was a really good dream. So she's in a house and she's with several different people, but I don't think that she really realizes who they are or what they're doing there. But she knows that her senses are amplified, okay? And they're heightened to a level that she has not experienced before. So everything is detailed and surreal, okay? And so she can sense the evil energies that are around her. And she's unable to see these with the naked eye. However, when she opens the camera on her phone, she can see these energies. And she can see them manifest right before her on the screen of the phone. As they manifest, she's able to acknowledge that she sees them. And I tell them, you have no business here and you are not welcome. You must leave. So she says, I woke up not feeling confused or afraid, but enlightened and aware. I recall dreaming of having the sense of urgency to place white candles throughout my home. Okay. Hey to Jody. Good to see you on Facebook. So here, let's interpret this. So she's in a house amongst several people. I feel like the several people are probably spirit guides that are bringing this heightened awareness to her to allow a different psychic ability to develop, because she realizes that amongst these different people, her senses are amplified and heightened, and she can automatically sense evil energies around her. Now, when you sense things, that is a clairsentient ability, clear sensing. And so clear sensing is an umbrella term, or clairsentience is an umbrella term for 3 different psychic abilities: psychic knowing, psychic feeling, and the gut feeling, psychic feeling, or empathy in the solar plexus area. So she's picking up on the fact that evil energies are around her through probably her empathic center in the solar plexus. She's unable to see these evil energies with the naked eye. However, when she opens her camera on her phone, she can see the energies. Now, this is development of clairvoyance, which is psychic seeing or psychic vision. And the reason why it happens on the phone is because the camera on your phone can pick up more wavelengths of light, and it will pick up light anomalies from ghosts and spirits more readily than your primitive eye can. But what this is telling her is the camera is representing the development of this clairvoyant ability. So she's able to see these entities, these evil entities manifest right before her on the screen of her phone. And the screen of the phone just represents the beginning of the psychic ability of clairvoyance. And so she doesn't feel confused or afraid, but enlightened and aware, because this is an opening of the psychic sight. So Jody says, I love to see spirits through my screenshots. They lots and lots all the time. Awesome, Jody. You should share a picture or two with our audience and let them see that too. So after she feels enlightened and aware, she recalls dreaming of having this urgency or sense of urgency to place white candles throughout the home. So white represents spirit or cleansing. And so when her awareness is open to, there are other things here besides me that I didn't know were here before. She's aware, or her spirit guides are impressing upon her the need for some kind of cleansing or protection, and that's where the white candles come into play. I thought that was an awesome dream. So Jody says, I'll post on your video after the live. That's awesome. We would love to see those. We would love to see those. And everybody chime in on what you think. So that was a really cool dream where this person is interacting with their spirit guides, but they don't know the spirit guides yet. And that the spirit guides are actually opening the person's clairvoyance up to things around them that they need to be aware about. Like, you need to be aware of the fact that there's evil stuff around you every day that you're just not in tune to. And so, it's important that you're aware of those things so that you can protect against it. Okay, so let's go on to the next dream. This one was a really good dream too, and it's a long one, so I'm going to read through the whole dream and then we'll go back and analyze it. So this person dreams about herself, her mom, her granny, and they've all gone camping with the old truck. We start a huge bonfire the size of our dining room table, so it's rather big, over 5 feet in diameter. We go to our sleeping bags and our tents to sleep for the night. I see out of the woods this solid black shadow on all fours. I can't make out any details, but it approaches the campfire and blows it out. I tell Mom and Granny tries to quell my fears, dismissing it as a bobcat, wildcat, or the fire just went out by itself. I look up and there's no shadow figure. It apparently has vanished. She goes to relight the fire. It lights and we go back to our tents. I see this thing come out of the woods again. It gets on its hind legs and walks like a human. It was 12 to 15 feet tall, absolutely massive. It blows the fire out for a second time. I tell Mom and Granny what I've seen. I say, we can't stay here. We've got to get in the truck and get out of here. This is mortal damage. I remember in my nightmare running to the truck with dish towel legs. My family right behind me. We got into the truck and I could hear chattering. It was methodic, rhythmic chattering. We drive off and get to town. We are in a Kroger and see the newspaper. Within about 10 minutes after we left, the place that we were camping at collapsed into a sinkhole about 250 feet down. We had barely missed it. The black figure was almost like a warning. Now, this one was really cool to interpret, but before we go to the interpretation, let me check on my Facebook page to make sure there's no other questions on here. And I think we're good. If there are people asking questions, I'm sorry, I'm not capturing anything on the live. Yeah, it's not showing me anything. Okay. So let's analyze this. Okay, so she's camping, her mom and granny. The act of camping is sort of representative of independence and kind of like freedom. So there's, because of the situation that's happening, there's some restriction on the feeling of freedom and independence with this person. Now, they start a huge bonfire, and that's very significant because I watched a show and it was about, the historical significance of people building fires at night. And historically, people were most vulnerable since the beginning of time at night because, predators would come out at night. And so it was very routine for, ancient humans to start fires and bonfires to allay any kind of attack from predators at night. So the act of starting this huge bonfires, and, she says it's 5 feet in diameter. So that's sort of overkill, I guess, for just a camping trip. So she's recognizing that it's a large bonfire, which means that it's a little bit overkill in security. So for some reason, the person wants to have like really extenuating security for some reason. And it may be because they have a lot of fears about the mother and the grandmother. Okay. So she sees from the woods the solid black shadow on our floors. Okay, so whenever a person automatically sees a shadow figure, you automatically think negative because it's black, but that's not necessarily true. I did like a 3-part series on shadow people. And in one of those episodes, we talk about shadow beings that are not negative, because shadow beings can represent some spirit guides. And all a shadow is the blocking of light. So when you see a shadow, the light is actually being blocked between you and the shadow, which means that whatever is there is closer to you than the shadow, because it's blocking the light between you and the shadow. You're seeing the shadow, so the entity is actually closer to you. So a lot of people don't realize that, but yeah. And not all shadow beings are bad, which she kind of finds out at the end of this dream. So it approaches the campfire and blows it out. So why is the shadow being blowing out the overkill of the campfire? I think it is saying to the person, you don't need all this protection. This is overkill. This is too much. You don't need to stress yourself out by building this huge bonfire. But she's missing that. She's thinking that whatever this shadow figure is, that it is blowing out or preventing any source of protection from her and her mom and her grandmother. Okay, so her granny tries to quell her fears by dismissing it as a bobcat. Okay, so just like any good granny, good grannies always try to allay the fears of their kids and their grandkids. And that's just what grannies do. And she sort of looks to Granny for this wisdom type of energy and an element of security because the security of the bonfire has been taken away. And so Granny kind of steps in to give her a sense of security where this overdoing of the bonfire was actually the security. Okay, so she sees, everybody is going back to bed again. She sees this thing coming out of the woods again. It's on its hind legs. It walks like a human, which to me is saying, okay, it's morphing into more like a spirit guide. But she's seeing it as 12 to 15 feet tall. So the shadow is exaggerated, which that lends it to feel like this is a strong thing. This could overwhelm the situation, and it blows the fire out for a second time. And so she panics. She gets Mom and Granny, and they run for the truck. Okay, and so she remembers running in the nightmare towards the truck with dish towel legs. Okay, this kind of clues into the other dream where the person is running in slow motion. Dish towel legs, slow motion is the subconscious saying to you, pay attention to this part of what's going on. You're running, you're in fear. You're not facing your fear. You're not working through it. You're not challenging it. You lack the confidence to figure this all out. Okay, so they get into the truck. And what she says is she's hearing chattering. It's methodic, rhythmic chattering. Now, I wish she had put what the feeling was when she heard this rhythmic chattering. And depending on the person's socioeconomic background, like, could this have been chanting? Could this have been some kind of protective type of ritual or chanting that was going off as they drove away? I wish I had a little bit more information on that. She doesn't say in what she sent me that it was upsetting, so I'm feeling like this might have been a little bit soothing, maybe, but I don't know, maybe she can message me and let me know. So they drive out to town, and then they stop by a Kroger and see the newspaper. And so within 10 minutes after they leave, they find out through the newspaper that where they were camping has collapsed into a sinkhole 250 feet down. Okay, so the symbolic representation of 250 is for a person to think deep about their choices before actually choosing or making a decision. Now, that's important because they had barely missed it, and the black figure was almost like that. She realizes at that point the black figure was actually warning us about what was going to happen. So I think what her subconscious is trying to tell her is really think about decisions before you choose your choices, because sometimes bad things actually bring good things behind them, or what you perceive may be bad may not actually be bad. It may be for the best of the situation. And I think that that's what this whole scenario with the subconscious was trying to tell her. Okay, so this is the last dream. This is short, but it was good. So this person says that they had a dream about a white wolf, and the white wolf bit a deer that was laying down. The white wolf almost felt like it was me. I could see the wolf, but I was like the third person in the third person. And the deer was laying on a bed. Okay. Now, this one is very short. I do need a lot more information from it, but I'm going to try to do the best I can with it. A lot of wolves are considered spirit animals for a lot of people. The fact that it's white is an indicator that it is in spirit and it is cleansing and protective. Now, it bites a deer that is laying down. So the deer is in a submissive type of position. And deers represent sensitivity, but also survival. Okay. And the white wolf, she says, almost feels like it is her, but like she could see the wolf in a third person view. So, what that means is the white wolf is certainly a spirit guide animal, but she's so connected to it, she can kind of see through its eyes. Now, why did the wolf bite the deer? Maybe there is some kind of connotation about her needing to be more of in a survival mode and really pulling more spiritual cleansing type of energy towards her. I'm thinking maybe the deer represents her and that the deer is too vulnerable because it's laying down, and maybe she needs to, since the wolf is biting the deer, it's almost like the wolf is conveying some energy to the deer of being wise or together. The wolf sort of represents loyalty to the pack, strength, family wisdom. And so I feel like that the energy between the wolf and the deer is more like the wolf is showing her that the sensitivity of the deer is too vulnerable. And maybe the person needs to use a little bit more psychic protection and to kind of pull back vulnerability a little bit. Because highly empathic people, like one of these dreams that we looked at tonight where the woman is doing too much and getting taken advantage of, I can kind of see that may be a little bit of what the subconscious is telling this person is that yes, you're sensitive, yes, you have this survival instinct, but you are vulnerable. You're a little bit, maybe just a little bit too vulnerable, and maybe practice a little bit more psychic protection. So that's our dreams for tonight. Let me check Facebook one more time. Oh, let's see. Yes. Okay, we're good. All right. Let's talk about real quick some of the shows that are going to be coming up, so that if any of these interest you, I would love for you to tune in. And ways that you can help the show is always through these little, support the stream donations. But, another thing on how to support people who are in small business or people who have shows like this or Hitch to Homicide. If I make a post or you really like the stream and you got something out of it that helped you understand how to interpret your dreams, share the video on your newsfeed, give it a like, make a comment. All of those things help the algorithm that these platforms put in place. Once you like it or you share it, the algorithm says, okay, that show is valuable, and then they have a tendency to share it to more people that way. So anytime you want to share one of my posts or one of my, broadcasts, or give it a like or give it a comment, that all helps these platforms share the products that we're putting out to you guys. So topics coming up. Next Monday, I think I'm going to do, okay, so we have Metaphysical ways to sell a house. Over the last couple of years, I've had several clients come to me with problems on selling a property or selling a house. And I've developed some specific things that have been instrumental in the sales of property. So I think, why don't we share this? Why don't we look at this? And so that'll be next Monday. Then the following Monday, I think it's important to go over really quick Project Bluebeam, because we're seeing some of those things come up in a lot of the news now. And so we need to talk about what that is and what it means. Okay, so that's number 2. Number 3 is there are a lot of folklore ghost remedies that we'll go over on number 3. Number 4, I'm going to talk about heaven and hell and the existence of either, as in the metaphysical realm. And then number 5, and hopefully I can get Sister Jessica to participate on this one, I want to do a show on demonic energies. And maybe that will get us through the rest of the summer. So with that, I hope you guys have a fabulous week. And as always, kisses from Kentucky, and I will see you next Monday night. Bye, guys. See you later.